Hi everybody, we are continuing with the aims and objectives of cooking part 3. Today we are discussing on the effects of cooking on different nutrients as well as the effect of heat on different ingredients. First let us take the example of effect of heat on carbohydrate or the action of heat on carbohydrate. We have already understood that carbohydrate is rich in cereals, fruits as well as in tubers. Now, carbohydrate in cereals, once it is heated, the long chain sugars on in it gets broken down into simpler sugars, which later will be absorbed by the human body. For example, when we cook the rice in the water, that means water is acting as a medium for cooking the rice. And when the heat is applied, the carbohydrate, the starch absorbs the water or it gelatinizes and releases the starch into the water. And of course, the carbohydrate is becoming simpler sugar substances, which later will be absorbed by the human body. Another example of carbohydrate is in the form of table sugar. What happens to table sugar when it is heated? It undergoes a series of changes. There is water content present in it once the sugar is been heated. After the period of crystallization, now a stage of caramelization starts where we can observe the color change also. Let us analyze the action of heat on proteins. We have already understood which are the protein rich food items. We say that the meats, egg as well as the pulse varieties are rich in proteins. Many of the vegetables also contains proteins. Now, if you take the example of egg, it gets coagulated when the heat is been applied. That means we can really see a texture change when the heat is applied on egg. And it has to be taken care that while cooking protein rich foods, it has to be done in a low to medium temperatures. The higher temperatures uh, denatures the food proteins and there is a resulting texture change which is very elastic in nature. So it will not be appreciated when the food is being taken. So it has to be always done in the or the cooking has to be always done on the low to medium temperatures. Now let us analyze the action of heat on fats. When the heat is applied on fats, the fat starts melting. But at a later stage, if you continue heating at higher temperature, decomposition happens, resulting in the fatty acids and glycerol. Now there is a stage reaches called smoking point where it starts emitting the smoke. So which will not be good and it has to be always done below the smoking point. Now another change happening is the polymerization. That means if the oil is been heated for a longer time or continuously it is been reused, then what happens is that it becomes a gummy substance. That condition is addressed as the polymerization. So this stage also we have to understand that the oil is not fit for human consumption. Now let us understand the action of heat on minerals. So there is no appreciable loss of minerals due to cooking. In fact, some of the minerals are made more readily available when the heat is been applied. Now action of heat on vitamins. There are two types of vitamins, water soluble vitamins and fat soluble vitamins. From the word itself and you can understand water soluble vitamins are the ones which get dissolved in the water and fat soluble vitamins are the ones which gets dissolved in the fat medium. We already understood that we make use of the oil medium as well as the water medium for cooking. Examples of water soluble vitamins are vitamin B and C. vitamin B and C gets dissolved in the water even if heat is not applied in it. And of course, when the heat is applied, there is a huge loss of vitamin B complex vitamins. And when the fat medium is used for cooking, the following vitamins like vitamin A, D, E, K, etc. gets lost into the fat. So if you are not making use of the liquid used for cooking, there is a chance that you lost all the vitamins. Now let us understand the effect of cooking on different types of ingredients. First, let us take cereals. Cereals we have already understood through carbohydrate. The similar changes are happening with the cereal rich food items. The one precaution you must be taking is that now more amount of water should not be used while a cereal is getting cooked, or the right amount of water only should be used. If you take the example of rice, around 2 to 2.5 times of water only should be used, or the water should be just completely absorbed by the cereal. That way only the water usage should be limited there, so that the nutrient loss you can avoid, because we already understood that certain nutrients like vitamin B and C gets dissolved, and the so-called vitamin B present in cereals gets dissolved into the water, and there is a chance that it gets lost if you're draining away the water. So that precaution has to be taken while you're cooking with the various cereal rich foods. Now comes the pulses. Now pulses has to be thoroughly cooked. Pulses are the ones where we can see a rich amount of or a good amount of protein in it. So it has to be cooked well so that the anti-nutritional factors can be avoided. Next comes the use of green leafy vegetables. Green leafy vegetables are rich in vitamin A, and sparingly vitamin C also will be present in it. And these two may get lost if you are adopting a longer time of cooking. So it has to be cooked on a slower temperature, and also for a shorter time. Regarding the other vegetables like potatoes, it is advised that the potato should be cooked with its outer skin intact, so that the mineral and vitamin loss can be prevented. And always it is recommended that the vegetable should be cooked in small amount of water, and that water should be made use so that the mineral and vitamin loss can be avoided. And it is also preferred to or advised to adopt steaming for cooking the vegetables. The fruits it is never advised to cook, and the only recommended method of cooking is the stewing. And while stewing also there is a loss of vitamins, especially the vitamin C, and it has to be the cooking liquid has to be made use after the cooking, even if we are adopting the stewing. Now regarding the cooking of fish, the fish is also a rich food for the protein rich food, and there is little connective tissues we find in the fish, so that fish gets cooked very fast, or the coagulation starts at a temperature of 60 degrees centigrade. So such high temperature can be avoided while cooking the fish. Now, regarding cooking of meat, there are so many changes happening when the meat is being cooked. There is so much of water content present in the meat, and the meat gets shrinked while it is being cooked, or the water gets lost when the heat is being applied, and the shrinkage happens. And now another change is the collagen, which is the protein present in the connective tissue. It changes its texture to gelatin, and it improves the taste of the food item, and the fat present in the meat gets melted. There is, of course, a loss of mineral content also identified, but it can be prevented to an extent even if you are making use of the liquid. And there is vitamin B group loss also been, especially the thiamine vitamin is also been identified when the heat is been applied. So the only prevention is that only the precaution you can take is that the cooking liquid also should be used while you're cooking the meat. Now, regarding the cooking of milk, we know that there is a scum formation when the milk is being heated, and the milk boils over easily because it is not allowing the steam to escape. Now, the prolonged cooking of milk or prolonged boiling of milk results into a scorching of the milk or the bad taste resulting in the milk. That is due to the caramelization of the milk sugar. There is a loss of thiamine as well as vitamin C being identified. So vitamin C is very sparingly present in milk. That also gets lost if you are cooking for a longer period of time. And another loss is the loss of, or it destroys the enzymes and the useful lactic acid bacteria is present in the milk. So the cooking of milk also has to be carefully done. Now, regarding the cooking of eggs, again we identified that egg is a protein rich food. Now, the protein is present in the form of albumin and globulin. Now, albumin of the egg begins to coagulate at a temperature of 60 degrees centigrade, and it really solidifies at 64 to 65 degrees centigrade. So, if you are adopting higher temperatures, it denatures and it becomes very elastic in nature. So in this session, we have analyzed the action of heat on nutrients, including carbohydrates, proteins, fats, minerals, and vitamins. We also analyzed the action of heat on various ingredients like cereals, pulses, vegetables, fruits, fish, meat, milk, and egg. We are winding up the session. Thank you for listening.